The 658th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code MMA SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hello, DeGenerinos. Welcome to episode 658 of the MMA Gambling Podcast of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to JL-EO1YY. Fans are thinking, no, you're butchering.
I did it again.
Anyhow, this goes out to that person. I assume it's a man because they're all men. And I know the fans are thinking about time you dedicate one to that person. But anyhow, that person on YouTube was worried we weren't going to cover Octagon this week, but worry not, fret not. This, as you see by the title of this episode, we're covering Octagon 61 today. It's a busy week for regional MMA. We got 5 regional episodes for you. And Octagon, we would not miss Octagon. Octagon's become one of our sneaky favorite ones to cover. It gets a lot of views and listens by you fans. And it's a sneaky good promotion on the come up in the Czech Republic area. So we're covering a big event of theirs this episode. I am one of your hosts, Taco Fox, Jeff Fox. I will be the setup man, the man with all the winning picks. Is if you're on YouTube, and hopefully you are, and you have subscribed to put us over 1,000. It's the man to the left of your screen, Daniel Gamble Responsibly. He has all the goods on this here event. This is a good one, right?
Yeah, and this is a good one. And you know, I say this, I think, every single time we do Octagon, but if you're looking to dip your foot into regional MMA, you don't really know how to. First of all, Octagon's a great place to start for 2 reasons. Number one, super accessible. Like if you're trying to learn to handicap regional MMA and you're watching fights and stuff like that, you don't need Fight Pass. You don't need anything else. They put almost all of their fights on YouTube. So like anytime I was like, oh, I really need to go back and I got to watch a Kalašnik fight, and like went back, there were like 10 to choose from. It was like super easy to find one. And then in addition to that, the production quality is just like, in terms of regional MMA, unmatched. Their production is so good. The announcers aren't annoying. It's usually Luke Barnett who is on there, which is a lot of fun. I don't mean to beat a dead horse on this one, but I do love Octagon MMA.
There you go. And it's a good one. I feel like I've heard exactly what you said before, but anyhow, like 5 minutes ago maybe, but anyhow, thanks for coming to the show and for Octagon, and we're going to jump into it, and this is a good event, as you'll see. Before we dive into it head first, though, I gotta tell you all, it's a warning. The war against corporate gambling is heating up, and SGPN needs you to do your part. If you take a couple seconds to rate and review our show, the MMA Gambling Podcast, on wherever you watch it, whatever podcast, or listen to it, on whatever podcast catcher, that would help us out. Most importantly, tell a friend. Word of mouth is the heartbeat of SGPN. So give us some love if you think we deserve it. It all depends on Gummy's picks here, more than likely. Octagon 61, Paradeiser versus Duque, Brno, Czech Republic, Saturday, the 21st of September, noon start time. So decent start time for most of us. No UFC that day either, so you can dive right into Octagon. It is on DAZN in the United States. They also have pay-per-view on their website if you're not able to get DAZN. I think it's pretty cheap too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like $10, I think, or something like that.
You're gonna win so much more than that. You're gonna win X number of 1,000x times that, at least $10,000 probably. Winning group arena. It's good already. It's a winning group. Brno, Czech Republic, in a cage, 11 fights. We are breaking down basically half of them in full. 5 fights, and then we will have our not patented or trademarked yet, but it should be lightning round picks at the end, where Gumby will give you some of his bonus picks, other fights that he's interested in, and he has a good bead on. And perhaps more importantly, we have lines for this. Lines have been out for a few weeks for this, right?
Yeah, they've pretty much been out since the beginning of the month, I think. They've been available for quite some time.
So they're mature lines, you could say. So get in on the ones that Gumby says to get in on. We're going to kick things off, I think, with a fun name for me to say. Main card fight, welterweights, Andrej Kalašnik from, I think he's one from the home country, Czech Republic. As far as yes, he is from the Czech Republic. Typology, when you hover over the flag, it doesn't tell you the name anymore. So it's gotten trickier for me. John Palaiologos from Greece. Obviously, with a name like that, he's got to be from Greece, and that is a Greek flag. So this is 3 5-minute rounds, and this is at, what weight did I say? It is at welterweight. Yep, 130 pounds. All right. Gumby knows the odds, so we're not going to do the guess the odds game. We'll just jump right into it with the underdog, Palaiologos, the Greek emperor, 20-13-1. This man is a veteran. 11 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's been knocked out 4 times, submitted 5 times. 1 and 3 in Octagon. However, he's won 2 of his last 3. However, he's won 2 of his last 5. Got knocked out in his last fight. There's another, however. Used to fight at middleweight. 2012 Pro MMA debut. 0-0-2 in pro grappling, plus 132. Kalašnik, AK-47, Andrej Kirilenko, is 11-5. 5 knockouts submission. There's a good call out. Remember the crazy back tattoo Andrej Kirilenko got?
Yeah.
Isn't it like the Grim? No, it was. I was going to say it's a Grim Reaper, but no, it's some kind of crazy, like, scary bird type creature. This man, I'm not sure if he has a back tattoo. Probably. He's in MMA. Kalašnik, 11-5, 5 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out 3 times. 7-4 in Octagon. 1 and 2 over his last 3, 2 and 3 over his last 5. TKO win in his last fight. Used to fight at welterweight. Actually, this is welterweight. Probably used to fight at, I'm going to guess, lightweight. 7 years younger than Palaiologos, minus 160.
I'm going to take a stab on the underdog right out the gate here. I like Palaiologos. You mentioned he got knocked out in his last fight. That's going to happen. He carries his chin a little bit too high. And Kalašnik, for what it's worth, definitely prefers to strike, which is probably why he comes in here as a favorite. The only time I've really seen him wrestle was when he fought Nicholas Stolze, which, everybody's going to try to wrestle Nicholas Stolze. It's kind of a one-dimensional game plan there for Stolze. So for me, I think Kalašnik is going to get what he wants here in a striking match early on. But the thing about Palaiologos is early on in fights when he is striking, he actually looks very technical. He uses like a little pickup tie knee to create space. He pumps a jab to keep people at bay. He throws little leg kicks just to keep people sort of spaced out. I really like all of that stuff Palaiologos does. And then the best part is that once he lulls you into thinking you're in a striking match, that's when his grappling takes over. And I think he's got a big grappling advantage here over Kalašnik, because while Kalašnik did try to wrestle in that fight with Stolze, he didn't control very much. He didn't score very much, wound up getting knocked out later in the fight because he was thinking about grappling. And I think here against Palaiologos, he's going to think he's going to get taken down early. But I think Palaiologos, like I said, he's fine striking early as he sort of lulls you into a false sense of security. When he's on the ground, he's really quick to grab submissions. I mean, he's got a really nice Kimura. He jumps on submissions with front headlocks really well. I like all those things about him. So between that and the fact that I think he can make sure that Kalašnik doesn't touch his chin early, I think both of those are reasons to get in on the underdog here. So I like an underdog right out of the gate. Give me Palaiologos.
All right. We like it. Palaiologos plus 132. The Greek emperor will not be knocked off his throne, hopefully. We are moving on to a tournament fight. No, we're turning a female fight. Yes, Typology has not updated their site. This is a women's bantamweight fight. Lucie Pudilová, you may know that name. She's from the Czech Republic. Back home fighting again versus Cecilie Bolander. And she is from Sicily, Bolander, and she is from Norway. Does that sound right to you? Yes, yep. Norway. 3 5-minute rounds at 135 pounds. We'll tell you about Bolander first. 3-0 with 2 submissions. This is her debut in Octagon. She's a regional champion, or was, 2 years younger than Pudilová, plus 120. So not much to tell about that. I'm sure Gumby has seen film, though. Pudilová, 14-10, 3 knockouts, 2 submissions. She's been submitted once. She's taking this fight on short notice. She was 5-1 in Octagon before her UFC run. So this isn't a debut, but it is a short notice return. She's lost 3 straight fights. Before that, she won 3 straight. She last won a fight in August of 2022, went 3-8 in a long run in the UFC, was regional champion, used to fight down at flyweight, 2014 Pro MMA debut, 3 inches taller than Bolander, minus 130.
Actually, 2 runs in the UFC. I'm pretty sure for Pudilová. Right?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yep.
She was cut and brought back. I'm gonna be honest. I saw this line here. I saw Bolander as a slight dog, and I was I basically tried to talk myself into picking her because she's 3-0. She's an exciting prospect. She's like what you kind of hope succeeds on the regional scene, right? Like you're not rooting for the 14-10 UFC washout to win, but like as much as I watched and tried to be like, well, if she does get her down, her submissions rule, which is true about Bolander. Like her sub game on top, really nasty. There's just so many things I kept walking into as I was breaking her down that I just kept being like, you can't bet the Bolander side. And the biggest ones for me are twofold. The first one being that every single time she goes for a submission, she puts herself in a bad position. You know, she's in a mount. It's a swing around armbar that if somebody pulled their arm out, all of a sudden she's giving up mount. She didn't throw the strikes to do anything there. She's basically like giving up a position, hoping it ends the fight. And while it's worked against the 3 women she's fought so far, I just can't see that continuing to work against Pudilová. And then similarly, you know, like I said, there were 2 things that really made me be like, okay, I have to stop trying to talk myself out of this like fun prospect because she is fun. She's got like hip tosses and things like that. But anytime she tries to close the distance to get in on those hip tosses or to get in on those trips, she throws a strike really far away. And then like the last 5 feet of closing the distance is just like her reaching out with her hands. And while like there's not necessarily anything wrong with that entry when you're a regional fighter, when you're fighting somebody like Lucie Pudilová, there's something wrong. You know, Lucie Pudilová is going to crack her on the way in and probably circle away and never get, you know, never wind up in the clinch. And if she doesn't wind up in the clinch, Bolander is not going to win this fight on the feet. So like between Bolander probably giving up positions a couple of times if she does get the grappling going, and then a huge question mark about whether or not she ever gets the grappling going, I just think Lucie Pudilová is probably the right side here. Again, I you know, it's really tempting to see like a fun new prospect at 3-0 and want to think they'll beat the UFC veteran. But I think she kind of just like learns a veteran lesson here with Lucie Pudilová. And the fact that it's close to even, probably a lot of value on Pudilová there. So yeah, give me Lucie Pudilová. What'd you say her number was? Like just barely in the negatives.
Yeah, minus 130, I think.
Yeah,
yes,
not bad at all. Not bad at all. I'll take Lucie Pudilová at that number.
Fantastic. We'll also both take Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy Pick'em is always adding to their awesome menu. They now have first touchdown projections. There are a ton of ways to win with NFL, college football, MLB, MMA, and more. The lobby is jam-packed with profit boosts and no sweat entries. You can now use specials to boost on all flex entries. Gumby, do you have a play for us?
Yeah, it's Thursday at the time you're hearing this. And Thursday afternoon, hopefully you got this first thing in the morning when I posted it, is Chris Sale Day. You know how I feel about Chris Sale Day. Always take the higher than on Chris Sale's strikeouts. He's up against the Reds today. Should get pretty close to double figures, and we'll have to see what that projection is set at. But I bet you it's somewhere around 7.5, and I can see him getting 8 or 9 here.
All right, there you go. Sign up with the promo code MMA SGPN to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MMA SGPN. All right, let's move along with our picks for Octagon. Our picks, Gumby's picks for Octagon. We are
Tip Sport Game Changer.
Tip Sport Game Changer time, ladies and gentlemen. The semifinals of the Tip Sport Game Changer tournament, which is like €1 million, isn't it? Or is it 100,000? No, this one's
if
$1 million.
If they win the whole thing, it's €1 million. So it's like, I think the finals is 300,000 and each leg of it is worth something.
Yes. Sounds good. All right. If you win it, this is one of the they call this a co-main event. Actually, no, which one are we doing first? We're doing
Keita.
Sorry. Keita's first. Okay. Lucene Keita. He is from Africa. He's from Germany, technically, right?
No, he's from
Belgium. Excuse me. Yes. Similar flags. Mateusz Legierski. He is from
Come on, just look at the name.
Poland. Legierski. I didn't butcher it, so that's why I didn't know. 3 5-minute rounds, semifinals of the Tip Sport Changer lightweight tournament. All right, Legierski, dynamite without a knee at the end of it. 12-1, 4 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out once. 9-0 in Octagon. Used to be the 155-pound champion. He's won 5 straight fights. He's not lost since December 2021. He went 1-0 in kickbox as a pro kickboxer, an inch of height over Keita plus 210. Keita, Black Panther. We've had numerous Black Panthers. He's one of them. 14-1 with 9 knockouts. He's been knocked out once. 8-1 in Octagon. Used to be the featherweight champion, so he fought down at featherweight before. He also used to be the lightweight champion. Both these guys vacated their belts, I believe. Is that correct?
So, yeah, I think Keita did to go up to welterweight, and then Legierski did to sign with KSW, which he eventually came back from.
Yeah, there you go. So they are still the undefeated champions technically. Keita has won 3 straight fights. The last 2 of those have come via TKO. TKO decision. TKO is how that went. Used to be a regional champion as well. Used to fight at welterweight. 0-1 in pro as a pro grappler. 1-0 in pro Muay Thai. A year younger than Legierski, minus 260.
I didn't think I was going to do this, but I'm actually going to go Legierski here. I have been, basically saying that I know the finals already before this tournament even started, and Keita was one of the names I kept pounding my chest on here. But the more I've watched his last fight with Bogdanovic, I really think that he showed a path to victory here for Legierski. And the money, what did you say the line is on Legierski?
Legierski's in the twos plus 210.
Plus 210. Yeah, and I think that's value too. Because like I said, I think Bogdanovic kind of painted a picture. Bogdanovic had some success in the grappling against Keita. And not only did he have some success in the grappling against Keita, but he did so being wildly one-dimensional. And I don't mean to be mean about Bogdanovic in that way, but Keita knew what he was going to do. He knew he was going to come in there and spam takedowns and basically just try to control him en route to a decision, and still had some success, largely because Keita does some very odd things when he's defending takedowns. He doesn't do the conventional dig for underhooks. It's almost like he's looking for switches, but grabbing them from weird angles and stuff like that. So for me, the fact that Bogdanovic had any success when Keita basically knew what he was doing is a huge path to victory here for Legierski, because Legierski, I think people are sleeping on how good his striking is. 2 fighters in a row, he's tagged with right hands and wobbled them a little bit. And I think by not being as one-dimensional as Bogdanovic, he keeps Keita on his toes with the strikes. I think it's going to be way easier for him to hit those takedowns when he does need them. And so between mixing it up, being basically a better, more well-rounded fighter than Keita here, I think Legierski's got a lot of value. I think you're going to see him, stay on the feet a little bit early. I think you're going to see him hit a lot of takedowns. I think you're going to see him wear on Keita. And I like Legierski here to survive the big bombs that Keita's been throwing.
See, he's not just chasing random dogs. He tells you why he's taking the dogs too. So, all right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're to the actual co-main event. That fight was listed as co-main event, as is the next one. Makhmud Muradov, you may remember that name. He is
your favorite actor
now. Yeah, our favorite actor, Ahmet Vert. Google it for new listeners or viewers.
Or don't.
Uzbekistan is where he's from. Please Google it. He's fighting Scott Askham from England. 3 5-minute rounds, 185 pounds. We'll tell you about Askham first. 20-6. 12 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been knocked out twice. 1-0 in Octagon, 1-2 over his last 3, 6-2 over his last 8. He did win his last fight. He went 2-4 in UFC. So we got a couple of former UFC fighters here. 4-2 in KSW, and the champion there. He's got multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Read the shirt and get the shirt. sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. Get sticky. There's been a lot of sticky activity in the Discord again lately, I see. Askham used to fight up at light heavyweight. 2010 pro on May debut, an inch of height over Muradov, plus 325. Mach is his nickname, but we know him as Ahmet Vert. I guess I Googled it if you don't know what I'm talking about. 26-8 with 1 no contest, 17 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted 4 times, 2-0 in Octagon in the past. Now he's back. 1-2 with 1 no contest over his last 4. He got a no contest in his last fight. 4-2 and 1 no contest in the UFC. Did he get released or he left on his own accord?
I think his contract expired in the terms were not favorable for him to return. So I think it was mostly mutual.
Yeah, Octagon pays good money because they just signed Chalgas Chumagula too, right?
They did.
Chumagulov, yeah.
And he's got wives to feed.
He does. Multiple wives' mouths to feed. Muradov, 2012 pro on May debut, 2 years younger than Askham, an inch of reach on him, minus 400.
I'm going Muradov here. This is another one where I was like, do I chase another dog here and ask him? But I think I'm remembering an older and different Scott Askham. Because then I went back and watched his recent fights, and I'm like, oh, he's just not that guy anymore. He used to be a guy who was both a grinder and could kind of surprise you with the hands once in a while. And it seems like that surprise you with the hands once in a while piece is kind of gone. You know, I'm not writing him off entirely and saying he's gone, but like, it's clear his prime is not right now. It was before. He's on the downward trend in terms of especially speed. You know, maybe the power is still kicking around there too, but it seems like his striking is lost a step. And Muradov, you know, he had a rough go of it in the UFC, but it was largely just like he was fighting guys who were really, really good jiu-jitsu specialists or could stuff his takedowns. And I think he's here in a fight with Scott Askham where like he knows what Askham can do, and he can probably actually outstrike Scott Askham. You know, at this stage in Scott Askham's career, I think Muradov is a little bit better of a striker. I think as long as he doesn't tire himself out or do something really stupid when it comes time to, you know, for the rubber to hit the road, you know, it gets to the third round and he's starting to, you know, slow down a little bit. He doesn't shoot a dumb takedown and wind up getting his back taken like he did against Gerald Mearshart or something like that. Like, I think as long as he doesn't do something stupid like that against Scott Askham, I think he'll be fine. And probably the easiest path to making sure that doesn't happen is just not tiring yourself out with a bunch of senseless grappling early on and just piece him up from range. So I'm going to go with Makhmud Muradov. I do think he's probably just closer to his prime at this point than Scott Askham is.
Of course, Gumby's taking Alkabad Vert. He can't quit that guy. All right. We'll get to the main event.
I picked GM3 in that fight for the record.
Yeah, it's true. That guy, you definitely can't quit for sure. All right. Before we get to the main event and our lightning round picks, I got to tell you about BetUS. I want to tell you about them. We're brought to you by BetUS, bet with the best in the business, BetUS. BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. Bet anywhere. BetUS is available in tons of locations, including internationally. BetUS just launched an all-new live betting experience. Easily deposit using cryptocurrency, easy for me to say, and get lightning fast payouts. Check out their MMA, UFC, everything else they got, odds they got on the site there. And more importantly, use our link to sign up, and you get 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN so they know we sent you. BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook. And Rhythm, SGPN's proud partner. Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Rhythm AI had a great NFL Week 2, 22.5% return on investment on NFL spread bets, and 44.3% return on investment on NFL moneyline bets. Build your own model. Copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard or press build a model for me, and Rhythm gives you predictions for every game and player prop. And also has a myriad of stats, research, and trend analysis to give you even more betting insights. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Now to our main event. And this is the other half of the tournament, Tip Sport Game Changer Lightweight Tournament. The other half has Ronald Paradeiser, and he is from not Czech Republic. He is from Slovak Republic. Does that sound right?
Sure.
I told you, topology screw me over now. Yeah, he's from the Slovak Republic. Very true. Very true, Jeff. Versus Acoidan Duque. He is from, do you know where he's from? Spain, correct. And he's the one with a fun nickname. Do you remember his nickname?
I don't.
LP. Remember we talked about this before?
Oh, yeah.
The P. Yeah. The PEI, the Prince Edward Island, is the nickname for Duque. 21-4 with 1 no contest, 3 knockouts, 11 submissions. He's been knocked out twice, 2-0 in Octagon. He's won 4 straight fights. He got 1-0 in Bellator, 1-0 in PFL. A lot of top level success for this guy. Was regional champion. Used to fight at welterweight and middleweight. 2009 pro MMA debut plus 210. Paradeiser Ronnie is the nickname. Not as fun as LP. 20-8, 11 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted 5 times. 14-4 in Octagon, and the current champion of lightweight division. He's won 7 straight fights. He's not lost since February 2022. He's fight at welterweight, 2014 pro MMA debut. 0-1 in pro boxing, 11 years younger than Duque, 4 inches taller, minus 260.
I'm going Paradeiser. I can't believe he's not a -400 favorite. We've been already talking about it in the Discord. This is why you got to get in the Discord to get these lines while they're available too. You know, when it posted, you know, he was right in the middle of the 200s. It hasn't moved terribly much. So if you're getting this now at -260, you didn't miss out yet. But I thought he'd be -450 because if you watch Duque's last fight with Makhmud, like he was having trouble with length in that fight. Now Makhmud's 5'7" at welter or at lightweight, and like when he was trying to close the distance, he'd get his leg cracked because he's way too heavy on his front foot. He like ate every time Makhmud tried to throw like a longer jab. He ate that, and like he was having trouble getting out of range of Makhmud, who is a stocky little guy at lightweight, and now
Short
he's
king.
going to he's a short king, and now he's going to be fighting a guy who's what is Paradeiser 6'2" at lightweight. Like he's
sounds right.
Huge for the division. And not only is he huge for the division, he puts together combinations really well that allow him to close distance, cut off angles. His I've talked about it on here. His grappling's kind of sneaky good when he uses it. I don't think he's going to use it against Duque because you mentioned all the submissions for Duque. Like he's probably just going to want to keep this one on the feet. But he's going to rip that front leg at Duque nonstop for the first 5 minutes. He's going to be moving so slow from there on out, and Paradeiser is just going to cruise. So give me Ronnie Paradeiser. I think he is probably the favorite at the beginning and still now to win this tournament.
All right. There you go. Chalky, but nonetheless, it's a winning pick, hopefully. All right, let's recap and get you set for our lightning round. He's got Paradeiser. He's got Muradov. So they're the chalky picks. But he has Legierski as a pretty sizable dog. Pudilová, small favorite currently, which is nice. And he's got another dog for you. Palaiologos. All right, lightning round. Crash, bang, boom, zap, pow. What you got?
So first of all, I want to give a shout out to whoever in the comments pointed out that Corey Fry's kind of got a good line. I didn't originally have him on my list of, I usually do 2 lightning round picks, but I'll throw him in there as a third one. Corey Fry, kind of a fun line there on him. My 2 official ones, I'm going to take Jack Cartwright over Mate Sanakadidze. I really do like Mate Sanakadidze, but it does look like since he lost, he was a champ at bantamweight, I want to say. Since he's lost his title, he just doesn't look himself. Like he doesn't look like he can put the whole game together. And Jack Cartwright is a guy who you don't want to be up against if you're not doing everything correct. Cartwright, sneaky good wrestling, very fast on the feet. So I like Cartwright in that spot. And then the other one I'm going to take is I'm going to take Korkmaz against Sadari. Korkmaz, I think he's kind of one-dimensional in terms of his wrestling, but also I do think his wrestling is just good enough to get to Sadari here. And we've seen Sadari lose to wrestlers in the past too. So Korkmaz and Cartwright as my lightning round picks with an honorable mention to Mr. Corey Fry.
All right, there you go. Hopefully you're enjoying that and you're all set for OKTAGON. We shall be in the Discord chatting about it when it's happening for sure. As Gumby said, we're already talking about it as it is. So that would be sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. What else shall we tell you? You should check us out on YouTube, obviously. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, buy a new subscribe button, and then you can go ahead and look at our site. That would be MMA Gambling Podcast, of course, on YouTube for all your grandma and cocaine content. What else? Twitter. How about SGPN MMA? Gumby runs that. He's Gumby Vreeland. I'm Jeff Fox, writer. Check out, I'm on Instagram with that handle as well. Check out my Substack, muddymma.substack.com. Check out Gumby's Top Turtle MMA podcast. He has a couple people on fighting tomorrow, right? Invictus of Friday event. So you got a couple of Invicta fighters.
Yep. Jamie Edenden and Maria Jucic.
Check it out. And of course, we are at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. Gumby, take us away.
All right, I'm Dandy Gumby Vreeland. He's Jeff Ahmed Fox, and we will see you tomorrow.